Hello, everyone. This is a very off the cuff, not scripted video that I had to share with you getting out of a meeting just now. Everything you've heard me say, if you've been a client of mine or you've heard me speak at a seminar about estate planning with an estate planning attorney, or you've just been seeing some of my videos, I talk about why powers of attorney have to be written correctly and why they should be powerful, because a power of attorney is supposed to give the people you trust power at a time when you can't make decisions for yourself. I have a new client. He's just become a client. His assets have arrived. We can now look under the hood, see actually how they're set up, asset titling, tax qualifications, etc. And as I'm going through his planning, I look at the legal documents that he provided. And I already know that his wife has Alzheimer's. We found out when we first met him that she's not mentally competent. She's already in a memory care facility. But as I'm reading his estate planning documents, I see that they were written in 2011. Okay, so first pause. Every state that I'm aware of, and we do business in many states, has updated their power of attorney laws and amended them to get rid of deficiencies at least once, if not twice, since 2011. Okay. So again, I'm looking at his documents. I can see that they're old. They give almost no power or authority. They don't authorize the transfer of ownership of items that are in her name only, or even jointly held assets like homes and rental properties. It doesn't give him, as the husband, power to even create a trust for her grandkids or her children, her own bloodline. I could understand setting up documents so that your spouse doesn't get remarried and give everything to the new girlfriend or boyfriend, right? But what about when you can't make any decisions for yourself and you would really hope someone could protect your assets and make sure they go on to future generations? There's no asset protection clauses or allowances, no gifting, no transfer of ownership or authority. I could go on. So it's a bit heartbreaking because, contrary to what some people may believe, especially if they're new to memory care, Alzheimer's or dementia can last many, many years. For some people, it could be 2 to 3 years. For some, it can be 5 to 15. In my family, I saw my grandfather last 13 years. So in this case, and in many other cases, this is why you don't want to download your powers of attorney from the internet, or get the Susie Orman kit, or have the guy who's your best friend at your wedding do your power of attorney language because he has a law degree. You want someone who is an estate planning attorney that does this for a living, that stays up to date on all the laws and rules to put together your planning. So let me give you an example. In Pennsylvania in 2016, they enacted changes to the power of attorney wording to address deficiencies from 2014's legislation. In Florida, I know there was a major overhaul done in 2011, but there have been more amendments made more recently, as recent as 2022, and I could go on. But my point is that power of attorney language and wording, they need to have teeth. They need to give your family or your loved ones the ability to act for you, to help you, to do the things you wish you could do if you can't. Okay. So the other thing to think about, which I think is really important and a lot of us don't want to talk about, and listen, if you're 60 and you're listening to this, fine, you might not think it's a big deal. But what I see is that when there's a cognitive decline, there are initial signs. And no, it's not you forgot you left your keys, in your purse. If you left them in the fridge, that's a different story. No, I'm just kidding. But there are signs and we start to see it. That's a great time to just sit down and update your estate planning. And in many cases, it's not extraordinarily expensive. But what I'm now going to have to do for this client, or try to help him do, is going to cost a lot of money, and we might not be able to achieve the outcome we were hoping for. But had he just updated his documents in 2016 or 2017, when he started to see cognitive decline, we would be in a different position. We would have lots of options and abilities. Because listen, when we're dealing with care of a loved one, we don't want to worry about all the other problems. We want to just make sure that that person is getting the best care possible. So it's important that we update our estate planning documents and that we get them done by the right people who are qualified to do them. Okay, I hope this was helpful.